Alex. I just finished.
We spent 24 hours inside Alex Eala's world. And what unfolded shattered every expectation we carried through the door.
And now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
Raise your hand.
That is the only language that fits. Indian Wells, California. March 2026. Where the desert sun bakes the court's gold, the mountains frame every sight line like a painting nobody commissioned, and the air carries that specific stillness that only exists in places where something extraordinary is about to happen.
And one of us does well, or one of us is succeeding, we all have that shared sense of pride.
So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch us.
And the world's best women arrive with something to prove. But here is what nobody tells you about Paradise. The girl at the center of it all arrived carrying weight that no ranking number captures. A 20-year-old from Quezon City, Philippines. World number 32. The first Filipino in tennis history to crack the top 100, the top 50, the top 40. And now knocking on the door of the top 30. She had just beaten a top 10 player in Dubai. She had just faced Coco Gauff, the most dominant force in women's tennis, on a packed center court where thousands chanted her name. But 6 weeks before that, the same fans who fill those stadiums had flooded her mentions with venom after a heartbreaking Australian Open loss. She absorbed every word. And then she did something nobody expected. She came back harder. Stay with us, because what happened in these 24 hours reveals the real Alexandra Eala. Not the highlight reel. Not the poster. The human being underneath it all. The wall. Picture this. You walk into Nike World Headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon, and lining the hallways, floor to ceiling, are portraits of the greatest athletes who have ever lived. Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo. Names that didn't just win championships. Names that rewired entire sports. Names that became movements. And then, tucked among those giants, a face that belongs to a 20-year-old girl from Quezon City, Philippines. Alexandra Eala. It wasn't a gift. It wasn't charity. Nike placed her portrait on that wall because the data demanded it. Because the crowds demanded it. Because women's tennis, a sport with a century of tradition, had never, not once in its entire recorded history, sent a Filipino player into the top 100. Until her. Where it began. Born May 23, 2005 in Quezon City, to a businessman father and a former national swimmer mother who once claimed bronze at the 1985 Asia Games, Alexandra Eala grew up in a household where competition wasn't a hobby. It was a language spoken fluently at the dinner table from the time she could understand it. By the time she was 13, she was gone. She packed her bags, flew to Mallorca, Spain, and moved into the Rafa Nadal Academy, the same walls that shaped one of the most ferocious competitors the sport has ever produced. She trained alongside world-class athletes before most teenagers had chosen a college major. And it forged something in her that opponents now dread. She returned stateside at 16 with a junior ITF ranking that had climbed to world number 2. At 17, she won the 2022 US Open Junior Girls title, the first Filipino ever to claim a Grand Slam Junior Championship. That moment didn't just make headlines in Manila. It made the walls of the tennis world shake. But junior titles are stories. Senior tennis is war. The WTA Tour operates on different physics. Opponents don't just study your game. They dissect it, map every weakness, and weaponize it. And when you're ranked 139th heading into the 2025 Miami Open as a virtual unknown, nobody worries about you. That was her advantage. And she exploited it with ruthless precision. Miami 2025, she walked through the draw like a force of nature. Yelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, then world number 2 Iga Swiatek, dismantled in straight sets on the biggest stage she had ever graced. The tennis world blinked. Who is this girl? Semi-final run. A leap from number 139 to inside the top 100. History carved instantly and irrevocably. By July, she debuted at Wimbledon wearing a Nike hair tie shaped like a sampaguita blossom, the national flower of the Philippines. That detail wasn't cosmetic. It was a declaration. Every match she plays, She plays carrying a flag that 40 million sports-mad people had never seen on a Grand Slam court before. So when she arrived in Indian Wells in March 2026, ranked 32nd and seeded for the very first time at this tournament, receiving a first round by that confirmed her legitimacy in the sport's most competitive tier, it wasn't simply a personal milestone. It was the culmination of a decade of solitary mornings in a Spanish academy, of video calls home, of Philippine flags in crowds that kept getting larger and louder with every passing round. But paradise, as she was about to discover, carries its own storms. The moment that almost broke her here is what you don't know yet. The moment that nearly broke her before any of this even began. January 19, 2026. Melbourne Park, Court 6. The queue outside started forming hours before the match. Hundreds of Filipino fans, many from Melbourne's massive Philippine community, lined the pathways of Melbourne Park, shoulder to shoulder under the afternoon sun. Philippine flags rippled in every direction, faces painted, signs raised. Security watched the line stretch, then stretch further, past the cafe, past the merchandise stand, past the outer boundary markers, all the way back toward Rod Laver Arena, a stadium that seats 14,820 people. Court 6 holds a fraction of that. The Australian Open had assigned Alex Eala, the most followed active player in women's tennis by online engagement, a player whose pre-tournament press conference had drawn six-figure views while footage of Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner sat comparatively dormant, to one of its smallest venues. Veteran tennis journalist Jose Morgado saw it coming before the first ball was struck. "Putting Eala on Court 6 is just dumb," he posted publicly. His frustration echoed across the tennis media community within minutes. By the time the gates opened, hundreds of fans were physically locked out. They gathered around big screens instead, flags still waving, refusing to leave. Inside, the atmosphere was unlike anything professional tennis had manufactured in years. Chants of "Let's go, Alex!" exploded between points. The noise level inside a venue built for hundreds felt like a stadium built for thousands. And she had not even walked out yet. Philippine flags covered every visible surface. When her opponent, 99th ranked American Alicia Parks, double faulted, the crowd didn't applaud politely. Detonated. Soccer stadium energy, compressed into a space built for a quiet afternoon of gentle applause. The umpire intervened repeatedly. "Quiet please." Then again, "Quiet please." Parks described it afterward with the bluntness of someone still processing what she had walked into. "It was very difficult. I was expecting it, but I wasn't." In that first set, she wasn't remotely competitive. Eala dismantled her in 34 brutal minutes. 6-0. Bagel. Dominant, precise, and utterly electric. The Court 6 crowd erupted with every winner. Parks was seen in tears between games, visibly overwhelmed by an atmosphere that had no business existing in a first-round match at any tournament on Earth. But tennis doesn't reward first sets. It rewards consistency across three. Parks reset, found her serve, discovered rhythm. While the crowd had spent its emotional energy screaming through the opener, Parks quietly recalibrated, began landing aces with alarming regularity and flipped the entire match. 6-3, 6-2. Eala, surrounded by 12 security guards, walked off a court that had cheered for her louder than most players experience in championship finals. She stayed long after Parks had departed, signing autographs, meeting eyes with people who had traveled hours just to be in that space with her. "It was so heartwarming," she said afterward. "That's one of the things that makes a loss like today a little bit harder. I know a lot of people were rooting for me." She didn't cry publicly. She didn't rage. She signed every autograph requested. And then the storm arrived. What those same fans did next she had just posted on Instagram. "Gracious, measured 20 years old. I wanted to touch on the enormous amount of support I've received this week. It's truly moving to see how my work can touch so many lives." Within hours, her own supporters turned. The same Filipino fans who had screamed her name across Court 6 began flooding her social media with fury. Comments questioning her character. Criticisms targeting her preparation. people who had traveled to Melbourne to cheer for her, now broadcasting their disappointment like a personal betrayal, as though a loss was something she had done to them. This is what modern sports stardom looks like beneath the portrait on the Nike wall. It isn't only glory. It is exposure. Raw, constant, and completely unfiltered. The controversy multiplied outside tennis circles too. A separate debate ignited around whether the Filipino fans had crossed a line at the Australian Open, cheering opponents' double faults, erupting midpoint, importing the atmosphere of a football derby into a sport that has always governed itself by a different code. It's too much cheering midpoint and distracting the opponent. It shouldn't be allowed, wrote one observer. Another countered, that is how we celebrate and support one of our own on the world stage. Why should we conform to the standards of people from other countries? Two sides, both loud. Eala caught directly between them. The voices that stepped forward then Kim Clijsters, four-time Grand Slam champion and one of the most respected voices in women's tennis, sat down on her podcast and said what many had been thinking but few with real authority had articulated. She described the hate Eala absorbed after Melbourne as dangerous for a young athlete navigating circumstances that had no precedent and no roadmap. She drew a comparison that landed with real weight. Eala's position in the Philippines, she argued, mirrors what Michael Jordan carried in America. Pressure. The impossibility of the standard. The profound loneliness of being the singular representative of an entire nation's sporting ambition. People just think it's online and in the news, Clijsters said. But it's not easy to deal with changes like that so quickly. And then the most significant voice of all intervened. Rafael Nadal, the man who had mentored Eala since she arrived at his academy as a 13-year-old girl, stepped publicly into the conversation. According to Clijsters, Nadal spoke out explicitly, positioning himself as a protector amid the online storm. The man who had shaped her competitive mentality was now shielding the person he had helped build. It's very important for her to be a little bit protected from the craziness, Clijsters added. 20 years old, world number 49 at that point. The first Filipina ever to appear in an Australian Open main draw. And needing protection from the very people who were loudest in claiming to support her. The question this chapter leaves behind is uncomfortable, but it is essential. What does it do to a young athlete's psyche when the volume of love and the velocity of hate come from identical sources? Whatever it did to Alexandra Eala, it didn't stop her. It activated her. What happened in the 6 weeks that followed, nobody saw this coming. From the Australian Open chaos that broke her heart to a Dubai quarter-final against the world's number 4 player. From hate-filled comments directed at a 20-year-old who signed autographs through defeat, to Coco Gauff thanking her publicly for reshaping the sport's entire fan base. From a ranking of 139 to world number 31 in 12 months. Alexandra Eala is not following tennis's established script. She is rewriting it. One packed court, one impossible moment, one determined step at a time. And whatever happens at Indian Wells, at Miami, at Roland Garros, or at Wimbledon, understand this clearly. The girl with the Sampaguita hair tie is just getting started.